Welcome to class, everyone. All right, cannabis terpenes. What are cannabis terpenes? Well, I can tell you that term is widely misused all over the industry, and people represent it to be something it is not. What are they? Well, the answer is probably going to shock you. My name is Drew, owner of MrExtractor.com, and I put terpenes in millions of pens all across the country. I was one of the first people to introduce cannabis terpene profiles to the industry, and I'm here to tell you the truth about cannabis terpenes in today's episode, Cannabis Terpenes from the Terpene Institute. Okay, cannabis terpenes. Now, full disclaimer here. I make cannabis terpene profiles. We don't use cannabis terpenes, but I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't have any bias against it. I really don't care. I'm not really trying to sell my product. I'm just going to tell you the honest truth about cannabis terpenes, okay? Here's the deal. In industry, cannabis terpenes are basically used to describe any terpenes that are extracted from cannabis. Now, I hate to use the word snobs, but everybody wants to say, oh, I've got cannabis terpenes, so my shit's amazing and your shit sucks. And I kind of don't really like that because people tend to change the facts a little bit about what's going on in order to serve that position. So we're going to break down today what cannabis terpenes are and what they are not. Now, cannabis terpenes are when you extract all the terpenes together from the cannabis plant, and what they are really is a combination of about 20-25 different terpenes that when they form together and evaporate, you smell them and you recognize that strain. That combination of those chemicals combine into the strain that it came from. Now, arguably, they are very good, usually, and I'll explain that in a second. They're good because Mother Nature has combined them into something that you like, and Mother Nature didn't necessarily do it perfect. You just chose that one over the one that maybe she made over here that sucks. You know what I'm saying? So you've got a good combination of terpenes over here. They're extracted from cannabis. That's great. But a lot of people like to say, well, these are from cannabis. They're better, or they're healthier, or there's just something more amazing about it because it comes from cannabis. And anything that didn't come from cannabis sucks. Well, whoever created this entire world didn't treat cannabis any more special than anything else. It is a plant like everything else is a plant. The terpenes that are in the cannabis plant are the same that are in other plants, just like lemons and limes and pine needles and everything. If it comes from a plant, it's the same terpene whether you get it from here or here or here, okay? What is different about cannabis terpenes versus like something that I create, I use organic terpenes from other plants and I recreate them into the same smell as cannabis. The real true difference here is that nature's just more complex, and nature always does a better job. Nature's just good at things. So nature makes a more complex, good smelling profile than I do. That's simple. And it also costs a lot more. Those profiles start at about, I don't know, a couple $100 a gram. Mine start out about $5 a gram. So if I was to smoke something, I would probably smoke those. But who doesn't like $200 a gram things, you know? The fact is that's not what's used in industry today for manufacturing, which is why a product like mine comes into play. But back to cannabis terpenes. Cannabis terpenes, they really are pretty good. Having said that, in order to get a quality cannabis terpene, you have to extract it from quality cannabis. Now, you've all had cannabis that smells like hay or doesn't smell good. If you extract the terpenes from that, you are going to have cannabis terpenes that smell like hay and they don't smell very good. Saying that something is a cannabis terpene does not inherently mean quality. It inherently means that it was extracted from cannabis. Now, that's a real problem when you're out there buying terpenes because this guy's going to be like, hey, dude, these are cannabis terpenes. And you're like, oh, wow, those are high quality. What if this guy extracted it from some year-old shake? It's still cannabis terpenes, but it's going to smell like year-old shake smells, okay? So one of the other things you're going to hear about cannabis terpenes is that they're better somehow. Now, not better in the smell. They are better in the smell if they're from better cannabis. That's a true fact. They're going to say they're scientifically better. They're healthier. They've got this entourage effect going on. That's not true, okay? That's not true. If you were to take terpenes, let's say just for instance, this one cannabis terpene extraction has 20 terpenes, and we know exactly what those 20 are. And then we take 20 organic terpenes extracted from different plants and combine them in the exact same amounts. Those are going to do the same thing. They really are, because they're both organic and they're both combined in the same amounts. Now, if you start talking about synthetics over here where they're created in a lab, that's a different story. We're not even really going to address that because I'm going to tell you that is not the same thing. But on a health level, People want to say, look, there's a lot of sick people in this industry. This industry was built upon medical patients. There are a lot of people who are at their last end and they're like, dude, I'm really sick and this treatment's not working for me. I need something. And you have these other people that prey upon you and they're like, cannabis terpenes are magical. And they've got all these effects but it's different because it's from cannabis. I despise that. I have to tell you, preying on the sick is one of the lowest forms of anything a human being can do. I want just for you to understand, I don't care where you buy them from. I just want you to understand the truth about what you're buying. Now, I don't claim medical benefits to any of this stuff. I don't believe in it. If your doctor wants to do it, your doctor needs to do it. I am not qualified, and probably the people selling you terpenes aren't qualified either, but I stay away from that because I'm not qualified to do that. But I can tell you that the terpenes, if your doctor says pinene has a medical benefit from you or to you, it's going to be the same extracted from cannabis. It's going to be the same extracted from a pine needle. It's the same exact thing. So don't let people trick you into saying that cannabis terpenes are healthier for you. They may smell better. Cool. I agree with that. But they're not going to give you any health benefits that a different organic terpene extracted isn't. Okay. So cannabis terpenes in general, we've been using that term here. The real thing, so when people say cannabis terpenes, they want you to think that cannabis terpenes are cannabis terpenes. They're special to cannabis, and they're really not. They are found everywhere in nature. And one of the reasons that you find out so many cool things about cannabis is because you have a million people analyzing the shit out of it, doing a million lab tests on it every year. You take any other plant in history and do the same thing, you're probably going to find out some pretty amazing uses and different things about it. We don't do that because nobody cares about a dandelion as much as they care about getting high. So you're going to find out all these things that are purported magical about cannabis that in truth are probably pretty prevalent in nature. But when you use the term cannabis terpene, that is implying that it's a special terpene just to cannabis with magical properties, and that is not the truth. What we need to be doing, watch the other videos on what are fake terpenes and what are food grade terpenes. We need to call things what they actually are and express the correct terminology so that everybody's on the same page. What you have are cannabis extracted terpenes. Those are terpenes extracted from cannabis. Non-cannabis extracted terpenes. Terpenes that are not extracted from cannabis. Synthetic terpenes, they're not extracted from anything, they're just created in a lab. These terpenes are the same. There's nothing different. If you're using them for medical benefits, that's really on you. You need to do your own research on that. Don't let people sell you on those things. So understand that there's nothing magical about cannabis terpenes. Again, they smell great, they work well, they're very expensive. They smell great and work well if they come from good cannabis. Do not buy things just based on the fact that it says that it came from cannabis. Like I said, you've smelled bad cannabis before. Now, my company, my name is Drew. I own MrExtractor.com. What I do is I take organic terpenes that are extracted from other plants in nature, and I create the same profile as the ones, the cannabis profiles found in nature. I do a pretty good job. I can't say that I exactly replicate Mother Nature, but I do a really good job. And the difference is that mine start at $5 a gram and these are $200 a gram. And really that's just due to scarcity. One of the other problems with cannabis profiles is they're different every time because the plant's always smelling a little bit different. It's always a different breed. With my terpenes, I use a recipe. I can create the same thing in bulk all the time. There's scarcity issues with cannabis extracted terpenes just because you damage and ruin the cannabis when you extract the terpenes from it. With my industry, I can source as many of these as I want. Sometimes they're hard to get, but that's life. But we can really provide these to manufacturers in bulk and offer an all-natural organic solution that isn't synthetic, it doesn't have chemicals in it, you're not using propylene glycol. So end of the story. Cannabis extracted terpenes are not magical. They are combined really well, they smell really good if they come from good bud. Organic terpenes are all the same. If you have medical benefits, they're going to be the same from both. And understand that when people are explaining that to you, sometimes you got to look and say, man, is this person really just trying to sell me what they have to sell or not? I'm not pushing what I have to sell. If I was a consumer, I would use cannabis terpenes in my pen. If I could afford $200 terpenes every time, and to be honest with you, I just don't want to do that. I'd rather just smoke some BHO. But that's just me, okay? So if you like cannabis terpenes, buy some. Go out there and be informed about how you do it. If you want a cheaper alternative and you're manufacturing substances, you're manufacturing vapor pens, or you're dipping and dabbing, or whatever you're doing, give my terpenes a try. Go to MrExtractor.com. Probably send you out some free stuff. We've got some sample packs on there, and hit me up. We work on the prices. Now, the Terpene Institute, doesn't replace college, but you don't need a college education to do this. I never went to college. I don't have a degree, but I do own a very successful company, and I put my product in millions of pens. You're probably smarter than I am. You probably have your own degrees. This is a business that you can run as well. Hit me up, all right? If you need a college education, go get a college education.
See you in the next video.